Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribing to the channel as always. So as I've been keeping you up to date regularly on the current transfer news that's currently going on. Obviously today Manchester United are back in action against Watford of course as well at Old Trafford. And hopefully Manchester United can get back to winning ways after currently suffering back-to-back defeats before the international break of course. Well, the good news is we've got a host of players, coming back from injury. Quite a lot of players, withdrew from international duty. But reports are now saying that reportedly Lukaku's set to return, Martial's to return, Rashford's to return, Matic is to return, and all that. Luke Shaw is to return as well. So a host of players are set to return today for Manchester United. Of course, if Manchester United can beat Watford today, we do go in the top four. Of course, I think because we do sit 2 points behind Arsenal. We go level on points if if we beat Watford today, of course, because Tottenham play Liverpool tomorrow. Arsenal play Newcastle on Monday as well at the Emirates Stadium. So we have to win today to try and keep our top four ambitions alive. Of course, obviously it's essential that we get Champions League football for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer transfer window, of course, as well, because we do want to get the top players at the highest level. Of course, I think Solskjaer wants around 3 or 4 players this summer. Of course, obviously, it's not going to be as easy as we think. I'm not going to underestimate Watford. Watford are playing really, really well this season. They've been in a good run of form under Javier Gracie, especially. They'll have more of their minds on their FA Cup semi-final clash against Wolves as well. Watford. Obviously, we've won our last 4 previous meetings against Watford, of course, as well. So I think potentially, Manchester United, will win, to be quite honest with you, as well. So yeah, so the host of players are set to return for Manchester United, of course, as well. Which is very, very good news indeed. We do know that players are going to leave Manchester United in the summer. There's still some contract renewals to sort out as well. But the good news that it got announced on Thursday that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the club's full-time manager. Of course, he signed a 3-year deal. His annual wage is $7.5 million. Of course, this means he's going to be earning more than Klopp, Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp, Chelsea's Maurizio Sarri, and Arsenal's Unai Emery. Of course, he's happy to to have receive half the wages than what currently Jose Mourinho was on as well. So it is a less wage package. But as I did currently say, it's a 3-year contract worth around 21 million, of course, as well. But obviously now it's essential, that we get the right players to Manchester United this summer, so you can elevate us at high level, get us in that commanding position where we do want to be, and hopefully, it can get us, winning trophies of that, and at least being up there, competing as well. So it is essential that we get the right players in the summer. I think we need around 200 odd million pounds, to get this summer. I think if Solskjaer is going to get around 200 odd million spend this summer, maybe some people are maybe saying, he should get a bit more than 200 odd million pounds. Of course, maybe some people are saying he should get 300 million pounds. Obviously, the club are still looking to hire a director of football to come in as well. But obviously, it's essential that we invest in the summer, of course, because we didn't spend any money in January. Of course, we didn't spend much last summer, because obviously last summer, we didn't get our priority targets, of course, as well. But obviously, we have got a board that can invest, of who Solskjaer wants to bring to Manchester United this summer. Obviously, I think he's keen on getting a right winner. That's his priority. Solskjaer is to recommend a right winner to come in, of course, as well. I think we do need a centre back, but I think recent reports say he's not really interested in buying any defenders, because he wants to give our current defenders, a chance to impress, improve themselves, and all that. And actually, defensively, really, really improved since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in, of course, as well. So I think he potentially, wants a right back as well. So I think he's focusing on more attacking additions to the squad, to be quite honest as well. I think he may be keen on getting a central midfielder in, especially if Ferrari's to leave Manchester United. We don't know what's happening with Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But reportedly, we're going to get around £200 million spend this summer. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been in regular contact, with Ed Woodward, what players should come in, and what players, should leave in the summer as well. And we do know since Alex Ferguson retired, we know a lot of money's being spent on Manchester United. Of course, we've had different managers, with different philosophies and all that as well. And, we have invested a lot of money. We must have spent about £600-700 million, but we've been playing catch up for the last five or so years, of course, as well. But Solskjaer's brought the fear factor back to the club now. But now this is his first game today. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first match today as permanent Manchester United manager, of course, as well. But he deserves the job. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as I currently said, obviously a great player for 11 years, as we all know, as well. Won a lot of trophies, scored a lot of goals. One of his most iconic moments, was in 1999 when he won the treble, of course, as well. So definitely, the right man for Manchester United, in my opinion. But I think he wants 3 or 4 new additions to come to Manchester United in the summer, of course. Well, I think he's told Ed Woodward, he wants to sell about 3 players this summer as well. There's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but obviously I think he's got 3 top targets as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If I'm right, he's got 3 top targets as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I'll give you a an update on that. I think he's interesting, bringing quite a few young players to Manchester United, of course, and that is, very, very good indeed, because we have got a host of experienced players. They do seem to be the ones that are caused us the problems. Obviously, these top three targets that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified, they're all English, of course. They're all upcoming prospects, and they're all very, very young indeed. So reportedly, Solskjaer showed an interest in Wan-Bissaka, Crystal Palace right back. West Ham's Declan Rice, he's a defensive midfielder, and also the number one priority target is obviously Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, as we all know as well. So reportedly, they are Manchester United's top three targets, because reportedly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has reportedly told Ed Woodward, he wants that trio. So he wants Wan-Bissaka, he wants Declan Rice, and he reportedly wants Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. So this is what he's reportedly told Ed Woodward. So Solskjaer wants three of England's hottest prospects this summer as well. But potentially, I do think we need a right back, of course. Wan-Bissaka, I think, is valued at around £40 million. It did say Wan-Bissaka, Jadon Sancho, and Declan Rice could cost us up to around £170 million, reportedly as well. But in my opinion, Wan-Bissaka, I don't really know much of him, to be quite honest. He's only 21 years of age. Of course, reportedly his defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good indeed. He spent the entirety of his playing career so far with Crystal Palace, of course, as well as Wan-Bissaka, of course. But he's only young. He only made his senior debut in February of last year as well, for Crystal Palace, of course. He is an upcoming future as well as Wan-Bissaka, but he would be a potential good upgrade to the likes of Valencia and Ashley Young, because obviously Valencia is on his way out of Manchester United this summer. This is his 10th season now as a Manchester United player, just recovered from a calf injury, and I think he's on his way out in the summer, when his contract comes to an end, because we opted against the decision, to trigger that 1 year extension on his contract, of course, as well. So I think Valencia's on his way out this summer. He's obviously 33 years of age as well. You obviously got Ashley Young, who of course is our first choice right back as well. But I think he'll probably leave when his 1 year contract extension expires, of course, as well, because Ashley Young, he's inconsistent now. He's too old. Is Ashley Young? By the time his 1 year extension expires, he'll be nearly 35 years of age, of course. Well, he's been here good 8 seasons now, of course, as well. So potentially, I do think we need someone young and ambitious on that right hand side, to be quite honest with you. But reportedly, he wants Wan-Bissaka reportedly as well. But I think he's valued at around £40 million. Is the player. I think he graduated from Crystal Palace's youth system. I think he joined Crystal Palace's youth system at around 11 years of age. Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well. So I think these are Solskjaer's top three targets. Declan Rice got mentioned as well. These are all British who I'm talking about. Declan Rice plays for West Ham, under contract with West Ham till 2024. I think he can play as a centre back, but I think he's mainly a holding defensive midfielder. And I did say I would be keen on Manchester United getting a centre defensive midfielder this summer, because we do need a centre defensive mid that's fast and tenacious. Of course, you've got Matic, who's a centre defensive midfielder. Obviously, Fellaini left in January, but Matic, even though he's improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I still have reservations about him, because he's slow, he's static, and all that. Is Nemanja Matic, even though he has improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and of course he's aging up as well. So potentially, I think we need a young centre defensive midfielder, and Declan Rice is a centre defensive midfielder. Reportedly, his performances for West Ham, especially this season, have been very, very good indeed, and he's one of England's upcoming futures as well. He's Declan Rice. So reportedly, Manchester United have showed an interest in him. Reportedly valued at around £40 million, reportedly as well. So he got spoken about. We do know the club's number one priority target for the summer is obviously Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, of course. Well, we do know he's going to cost us quite a bit of money. Borussia Dortmund made demand that they want around £100 million for Jadon Sancho if Borussia Dortmund, of course, are to sanction him off this summer. Manchester United still believe we could land him for around £80 million, something like that. It's also said PSG have been interested in him, but I think he's attracted interest, from quite a few teams across Europe. Jadon Sancho, of course, he's still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022, and he's mainly a winner. He shows that ability to attack. He provides that width well. He scores goals as well, and he's very, very young. He's only just turned 19 years of age, as Jadon Sancho, of course, well. He broke into the England first team last year, of course. They did Jadon Sancho, and Manchester United have been heavily linked to him. I think is the club's number one priority target. Obviously, he did serve a couple of years at Manchester City, of course, as well. And at that point, I think in 2017, Manchester United, were linked with him back then as well. But the main reason he left City because he wasn't getting that game time. Would have liked, he wasn't getting the game time. He didn't get guaranteed, to play regularly, of course, and that's why he departed City and went to Borussia Dortmund. But he's had a good couple of years with Dortmund, as I said. But he's done very, very well. Indeed, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him, of course, and obviously obviously, if we were to get him in the summer, it would make him the most expensive English footballer ever, of course, as well. But I think Man United officials have been in negotiations with Jadon Sancho's representative, of course, as well. But Borussia Dortmund do know how much of an essential player he is to their team, so potentially Borussia Dortmund, wouldn't want to lose him, of course, as well. But Manchester United have been heavily linked to him, and I think it'd be a great addition to our team. I think Jadon Sancho is a solution to Manchester United's problems, of course. Well, and don't forget he's still very, very young, so it's good that Manchester United, are eyeing, quite a few young players, of course, as well. And we have got a really, really good team. Just that we need to bring about 3 or 4 players in the summer, to get us back, the way we was under Alex Ferguson, and get us back up there, winning trophies and challenging for trophies, of course, as well. And it depends how we do in this 3 years of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If we do really, really well, obviously, Manchester United, will obviously, try, give him another contract term, of course, and I think he'll plan for a long tenure as Manchester United manager, of course. Will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But it's 7.5 million his annual salary, of course, and it is a big pay rise, compared to what he was on at Mold, because he was only on like £400,000 a year with Mold, of course, as well. So as I did say, reportedly Manchester United's top 3 tags, and I think we need someone who can play between the bylines, who can put crosses into the box, and I think Jadon Sancho is capable of that, as well, without a shadow of a doubt. But the good news I updated you on yesterday, which was very, very good indeed. I'll give you an update on in relation to Marcus Rashford as well. Now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been appointed the club's full-time manager now. This has obviously convinced Marcus Rashford, that he wants to commit his long-term future in Manchester United, and he is ready to commit to a new deal, is Marcus Rashford. I think it's going to be a 5-year deal worth around £150,000 per week. This will make him the club's 5th highest paid player, of course, as well. So that's very, very good indeed. So Rashford is set to snub Barcelona off, because it has said Barcelona showed an interest in him. It's also said Real Madrid have been interested in him before as well. But I've never had any worries about Marcus Rashford. He's Manchester born and bred, of course. He's progressing up the youth system fantastically well. He's been in United players since the age of 7. He's been in the senior squad with us since 2016, but he still remains at the moment under contract with Manchester United till 2020. I think there is an option of a further year as well, but Manchester United have held negotiations with his representatives and all that as well. And potentially, Marcus Rashford is one of our best players. I also really, really like Martial, who obviously, signed a new long-term deal with Manchester United as well. So Rashford's on the verge of signing a new 5-year deal worth around £150,000 a week, which is very, very good. And he wants to sign this new deal after the appointment of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which is very, very good. And obviously, Barcelona eyeing, Marcus Rashford as a good long-term replacement for Luis Suarez, because I think Luis Suarez is nearly 32 years of age now, of course, as well. But Rashford's been a very, very good player. He's been playing a key role under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. I think if there was strong speculation of him leaving when Jose Mourinho was here, because he wasn't potentially in good form, because he wasn't getting that game time, was Marcus Rashford. But I think since he's recovered from that ankle injury, he hasn't been playing to his potential best, Marcus Rashford, because usually he's like lightning. He likes getting them runs in behind him, of course, as well. He has looked most recently, he's looked very, very good alongside, Romelu Lukaku in our front line as Marcus Rashford, to be quite honest here as well. And I think Lukaku does perform better when he's got support up front. Looks more effective, of course. He scores more goals and all that, because he's not reliable enough up front on his own, Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest. But I think in relation to Lukaku, I think he's could be available to play today. He may not start, but he may come on as a substitute, because obviously, Lukaku has obviously, had an ankle injury, of course, as well. So that's really, really good news indeed. Obviously, in relation, as again, giving you an update on Ander Herrera, of course, hopefully somewhere along the line, we could come to an agreement of getting Ander Herrera a new contract at Manchester United as well, because he does deserve it, based on his fantastic performances, of course, as well, Ander Herrera. There has been rumours going on saying that he has been linked with a move to Paris Saint-Germain. At the moment, his future is up in the air with Manchester United, but now with Solskjaer getting the job full-time, could this change the scenario of Ander Herrera? And I think, he does probably want to stay at Manchester United. Recent reports did say he was keen on signing a contract extension. He wants to stay at Manchester United, of course, as well, Ander Herrera. But recent reports have said that PSG have expressed an interest. It did say PSG willing to offer him £150,000 per week, plus a 3-year deal, of course, as well, because PSG are planning for an investment. They want someone to go alongside Marco Verratti in their midfield, of course, because obviously it's looking like Adrien Rabiot is on his way out of PSG this summer, of course, as well. It also said that Arsenal showed an interest in Ander Herrera. This is Ander Herrera's 5th season now as a Manchester United player, of course, as well. And I think he's been a very, very very consistent player. I think especially since Solskjaer's coming, he's been fitting in that midfield trio very, very well. His defensive capabilities have been very, very good. Shows a lot of tenacity about his play. He's a good ball playing midfielder, and I think he breaks up the play very, very well. Does Ander Herrera, of course, as well. So yeah, I've been very, very impressed with his performances. So hopefully somewhere along the line he can commit to a new contract at Manchester United as well. But it has said PSG have been interested, but at the moment I think his future is uncertain, and he comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season, of course, as well. So if he is to leave, obviously, Solskjaer's obviously going to want to recommend a central midfielder to come to Manchester United as well. Obviously, as you have been hearing the rumours a lot, as I've been regularly updating you about Paul Pogba as well. A lot of rumours have been, going on about Paul Pogba, as we all know. Reports have been coming out from Spain saying that it's been revealed that he's made a decision on his Manchester United future, and the comments he has been saying about Real Madrid and all that, it just indicates that he's not planning to spend the rest of his playing career in England, of course, as well. I think he's 26 years of age now, Paul Pogba, as we all know, as well. But recent reports he's been saying, he says Real Madrid are a dream club, dreams playing for them, and all that. And he did say Real Madrid is a dream for anyone. He did admit, playing for Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid, would be a dream, of course, for Paul Pogba. So I think Real Madrid are the favourites to sign him this summer. There's obviously been rumours going on that he could potentially possibly make a return back to Italy, of course, to Juventus, where he did have 4 good years as well. I think his agent Raiola is in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club. Reports have been coming out saying that Real Madrid are preparing to put a bid in of around £125 million for Paul Pogba, because obviously Zinedine Zidane's an admirer of the player, of course. I think Real Madrid were interested in him back in 2016, because obviously Zinedine Zidane is getting around £300 million to spend at Real Madrid this summer, of course, as well. I think Florentino Perez is giving him this, of course, because obviously Zinedine Zidane signed a contract with Real Madrid till 2022, and he's identified quite a few targets he's interested in. Paul Pogba, Zinedine Zidane, sorry, as we all know, as well. But I think he's interested in Paul Pogba, and as I did quickly say, Man United are reluctant to let him go. So if any offers do come for Pogba in the summer, I don't think Man United will reject these offers, of course, as well. But Paul Pogba remains still under contract with Manchester United till 2021. Reports have been saying that he has turned down a contract offer for Manchester United, reportedly. Reports are now saying that if Paul Pogba is to join Real Madrid, reportedly he wants a significant pay rise. So he wants an annual wage of around 14 million. If he is to make a move to Madrid or make a return back to Juventus, he'll want an annual wage of 14 million, of course. So reportedly this would make him the highest paid player at Real Madrid, of course, as well. But he did say Real Madrid are preparing to put £125 million bid in for Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba's been one of our most influential players since Solskjaer's coming. Standing good to the front when he's been playing them delicate pass and all that. And obviously, I think the leftist Jose Mourinho would still been here, because obviously, he had a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho, all that, did Paul Pogba as well. But recent reports saying that he does want to leave United, does Paul Pogba. Yeah, he was linked to a move. Sorry guys about that. Obviously, he is our most expensive signing, is Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But there has been rumours, going on about it. That he's been talking a lot about Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are the favourites to land Paul Pogba this summer, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of rumours going on about it. His agent Raiola has been in the process of trying to find him a new club as well. So we do know there's been a lot of rumours, going on about that, guys, as well. I wanted to give you an update on, and I think Zinedine Zidane has spoke publicly, to Paul Pogba, reportedly, as well, and I think he said yes to Real Madrid as Paul Pogba, so I think he's intending on moving there in the summer, of course, as well, as reports do currently say. Obviously, another Manchester United player, another player that Manchester United have been interested in is obviously another upcoming player, and he's also English as well. He's Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course, as well, as I have been giving you an update on. Obviously, he's a winger. He can actually operate as a forward as well. He's the Chelsea wonder kid. He's only 18 years of age. He's Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course, as well. Obviously, Chelsea wouldn't want to lose Callum Hudson-Odoi, this summer, especially considering, that transfer ban, they currently got by FIFA, so they can't do any transfer activity in the next 2 windows, Chelsea, of course, as well. But reports have been coming out about Callum Hudson-Odoi saying that reportedly he still wants to leave Chelsea, reportedly. Reports have been coming out saying that Chelsea are willing to offer him a new contract worth around £100,000, to convince him to stay at Chelsea, of course, as well. It has said Manchester United have entered the race for Callum Hudson-Odoi. It also said that Liverpool now have had negotiations with Callum Hudson-Odoi's agent over the summer transfer, of course, as well, because it has said Liverpool have been interesting. I still think Bayern Munich are the favourites to reportedly, land him this summer if Chelsea are willing to do any business calls, because obviously it was Bayern Munich's top priority, back in the January window. Bayern Munich in January had a host of bids turned down by Chelsea for Callum Hudson-Odoi, back in the January window. It did say Bayern Munich, we're willing to, we're willing to offer him the number 10 shirt, of course, as well. And I think Chelsea, asking prices around £43 million or something like that as well for Callum Hudson-Odoi. So if any team willing to pay £43 million or more, then Chelsea, may negotiate about it, of course, as well. It does indicate that he's nowhere near signing a new deal with Chelsea. He is still under contract with Chelsea till 2020. He's yet to start a Premier League game this season under Maurizio Sarri, of course, as well. So he does have strong reservations about his game time. There's Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he still remains under contract with Chelsea till 2020, of course. Obviously, not too long ago, he was subjected to racial abuse, twice in 11 days, and all that. So Chelsea, offered him counselling and all that as well. So potentially, Manchester United have also, showed an interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi, and also he's 18. He's obviously one of England's youngest upcoming prospects as well. But I think he wants to go to a team where he's guaranteed to get 15 football week in, week out, and he hasn't been getting this at Chelsea. He has been, playing in the cup competitions and that, but he hasn't really been, he hasn't been getting the game time in the Premier League, that he would have liked, of course, where Callum Hudson-Odoi. But a few teams have expressed their interest in this player as well. So there has been talks about him. There has been a lot of talks about him going on as well. And obviously, reports have been coming out about Philippe Coutinho, as I've been giving you an update on him as well. Reports are coming out saying that reportedly, Coutinho's told his teammates that reportedly he's strongly considering leaving Barcelona this summer, of course, as well, as after he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time with Barcelona, as we all know, as well, struggled to get regular game time and just hasn't lived up to expectation levels in Spain. He's been at Barcelona, 14 months now, as Philippe Coutinho. Barcelona paid, £142 million, was it, for him from Liverpool in January of last year, of course, as well. And he's failed to replicate the form he did at Liverpool, because don't forget, he did have 5 great years with Liverpool, did Philippe Coutinho, as we all know, as well. But he just hasn't done it at Barcelona, as we all know. And this is why there's been speculation of him, potentially, leaving Barcelona. Back in January, Manchester United, had negotiations with his representatives and all that, as well. It's also said that Chelsea have showed an interest. Could he possibly make a return back to Liverpool, of course, as well, Philippe Coutinho. But I think he's still got a long contract with Barcelona as Coutinho, but he's been very, very inconsistent, for Barcelona. He's still, 26 years of age, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's Brazilian, he's mainly an attacking mid, but he actually can operate as a winner as well. But he has failed to fit in under Barcelona's system. And if Barcelona are to sell him this summer, obviously they're not going to recoup the initial £142 million they paid for him from Liverpool in January of last year. At the moment, he's the third most expensive player of all time, as well as Philippe Coutinho, as we all know, as well. So there has potentially, been a lot of talks going on about that. He's told his teammates he's considering leaving Barcelona this summer, because obviously he's not satisfied in Spain, with Barcelona, of course, as well. But it's also said that Chelsea have showed an interest in him as well. Said that Chelsea have showed an interest in him as well. So I wanted to give you an update on that as well. And it did actually say, he's keen on making a return back to the Premier League. It did say a while back that reportedly spoke to some Manchester United players, regarding the move to Old Trafford, of course, as well, this summer. Probably still would cost about 80, maybe £90 million, to lure him away from Barcelona this summer. But recent reports did say he's not one of Manchester United's priorities, and I don't think we are interested in signing him. Last time I heard about it, of course, as well. And obviously, as I did say to you guys, defensively, I think we need a centre-back. We need a world-class centre-back. We need an experienced centre-back, of course. Someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, as well. And obviously, we've been linked with quite a few central defenders, as we all know, as well. But we need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, because Victor Lindelof's performances have really, really improved this season as a Manchester United player, showing that ability to play out from the back. His distribution, has looked very, very good indeed. And I've been very, very impressed with him. And, obviously, Solskjaer's been going with Chris Smalling and Victor Lindelof as a centre-back partnership, as we all know as well. And they've blended in fantastically well together, to be quite honest with you as well. But we do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, because I think Eric Bay's future is uncertain, even though I highly rate him. He's got great potential and all that, as Eric Bay, of course, but he's been in and out of the team this season. Jones's future is uncertain with Manchester United, of course, as well. And as I did say, guys, and I think Marcus Rojo's definitely on his way out of the club this summer, just recovered from long-term absence, of course. He's had a string of injuries as a Manchester United player, and this is what's affected his Manchester United career, with the injuries. He's currently a mad Marcus Rojo, so I think Manchester United are going to, sell him off in the summer, to make probably room for a new centre-back to come in, even though recent reports did say, Solskjaer's focusing on more other areas of the squad rather than getting a central defender in, of course, well. But I think Marcus Rojo could possibly leave Manchester United this summer. His versatility is very, very good, as I did currently say, but I think he could be on his way out this summer as well. But we do know we know that Manchester United, of course, have been long admirers of Napoli's Koulibaly, and now recent reports are pursuit of Koulibaly this summer could be in jeopardy, of course, as well, because recent reports have said Carlo Ancelotti's basically ruled him out leaving Napoli, Koulibaly. He basically insists, Carlo Ancelotti insists that Koulibaly will not leave Napoli, and Carlo Ancelotti insists that Koulibaly is currently not for sale, of course, as well, even though recent reports did say Manchester United got informed that reportedly if we had any chance of landing him in the summer, reportedly he would cost us at least around £130 million if we had any chance of getting Koulibaly this summer. We've been long admirers of the player, we linked to him in January, linked to him last summer. We had 3 bids turned down for him in January, of course, as well. He's grown, developed and flourished fantastically well. He's good in the air, he's 27, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, to be quite honest with you, as well. He's still got a contract with Napoli till 2023, of course, and we all know he'd be a great leader in our back line with Koulibaly, but I think now Man United have got other alterations and we're looking at other targets, of course, as well. So I don't think he's he's not the number one priority anymore, because recent reports have said, that Carlo Ancelotti insists Koulibaly is not for sale, of course, as well, and reportedly we'd have to pay at least £130 million, reportedly, if we did have any chances of signing Koulibaly, of course. Well, obviously this will make him the most expensive defender in world football, making him our most expensive signing, as well. But we do know how great it would be if he came to Manchester United, of course, as well. We have got the financial power, to meet that valuation of £130 million, of course, as well. I think he's also expressed interest, from Real Madrid as well, as Koulibaly, as well. But I think he's confirmed, the Napoli have confirmed he is not currently for sale this summer. This is according to Carlo Ancelotti, and all that, as well. But Manchester United's last bid they had turned down was at £95 million, and he's been at Napoli, a number of years now as Koulibaly, of course, as well. But we do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, and we do know there's other defenders that Manchester United have also, been interested in, as well. Rafael Varane, has been mentioned in the media as well, and he's been potentially a Manchester United target, of course, as well. He's 25 years of age, and it's remarkable what he's achieved as a player so far. And he's only 25 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Rafael Varane, he's remained loyal at Real Madrid, for a lot of years. This is his 8th season now in the process, is it, with Real Madrid? This is his 8th season now in the process with Real Madrid. Rafael Varane's, as we all know as well, this is his 8th season now in the process with Real Madrid. Reports came out from Spain, reportedly saying that he may be considering leaving Real Madrid this summer, reportedly, as well. It did say, reportedly, Manchester United are prepared to pay up to £100 million for Rafael Varane if he decides to leave Real Madrid this summer, of course, well. But he reads the game very, very well. His defensive capabilities are very, very good. He's good in the air. He shows that ability to play out from the back. And he would look very, very good alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line, of course, well. He has got a huge release clause in his current deal of around £400 million. He's still under contract with Real Madrid till 2022, as we all know as well, is Rafael Varane. But I think now this is his 8th season now in the process with Real Madrid. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances. He must have won about 15, 16 major honours, something like that. He was very, very good in the World Cup as well, last summer, of course, as well, was Rafael Varane. But I think this is his 8th season now in the process with Real Madrid, of course, as well. Zinedine Zidane wouldn't want to lose him, but I think he'd be a great addition in our back line, if he was to come in, Rafael Varane, of course. Well, I don't think it will happen, but yeah, he's a really, really good player, indeed. So could he reportedly, leave Real Madrid this summer, of course, as well. So there's quite a few targets, that Manchester United have been interested. Recent reports have said a top 3 targets are reportedly Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, right back, West Ham's Declan Rice, defensive midfielder, and Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, winger, of course, well, and he's the club's number 1 priority target for the summer is Jadon Sancho, of course, as well. But the great news is Rashford is set to commit his long-term future in Manchester United now after the official appointment of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Rashford's set to sign a new 5-year deal worth around £150,000 a week. This is going to potentially, I think, make him the fifth highest paid player at Manchester United as well. Only 21 years of age, still got a lot of years ahead of him, to be quite honest here as well. But his performances have been absolutely fantastic indeed. So that's really, really good news indeed. But now, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the job at Manchester United. Of course, this is going to be the tester for him, of course, well, of who we can get in this summer for the remainder of this season and going on to next season as well. Is also, going to be a tester for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. And obviously, we've still got a great chance of winning the Champions League, and that would be a remarkable achievement, if we could win that Champions League, of course, as well, which I think is going to be very, very difficult indeed. If we don't win the Champions League, though, we'll have to try and hope, we can get that top four, of course, as well. We've got other games today. You've got Fulham, Manchester City coming up today. If City win today, they go back top by a point, of course, as it stands at the moment. Liverpool are 2 points in front. Liverpool have got a big game tomorrow going at home to Tottenham Hotspur as well. Obviously, from Liverpool's perspective, their priority is to win the league this season, of course, as well, because obviously they haven't won it for nearly, 3 decades now, is it, or something like that, as well. So that's their priority this season. For me, obviously, we know it's going to be either Liverpool or Man City that are going to win the league. We know that we hate them both, to be quite honest with you, but you could really say, if Liverpool win the league, that means obviously City, can't win the quadruple, of course, well, but in my opinion, hopefully City can get knocked out of the Champions League and obviously, win the Premier League. That's what I hope. If you have to choose, obviously we'd have to say Manchester City, of course, as well. And City's priority would actually, out of the Premier League and Champions League, if Manchester City had a choice, I think their priority would be the Champions League, because obviously City have actually, never won the Champions League, of course, as well. Guardiola's won it, but obviously City have obviously, never won it, of course, as well. But Liverpool, Tottenham, you'd probably say Liverpool are going to win that game, to be quite honest, because Tottenham have been in a bad run of form lately. Obviously now they're fighting, to get top four, of course, as well. They've lost the last 4. Well, I think they're winless in the last 4 games, Tottenham, of course, as well, in the league, of course. So they haven't been in a good run of form, as we all know. So I think Liverpool at home, potentially, will probably, beat Tottenham, to be quite honest with you as well. So if Liverpool win, obviously, they go back top. If City do win today, of course, as well. But as I'm saying, it's good news that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently got the job at Manchester United. He deserves it, based on his fantastic progression he's done. He's got the performances have been good, mainly the results have been good. He's been enjoying, he's been a fantastic experience for him so far. He's enjoying, working with the players, the coaches, the staff, and all that as well. And it's very, very good for him. And I did say he would get the job on a full-time basis. It was just a matter of when. He has now got it. And he did initially say Man United wanted it confirmed by the game today against Watford, as well as Manchester United have currently done as well. So I wanted to give you an update on some transfer news that's going on. There's reports coming out about Rafael Varane. Manchester United prepared to pay up to £100 million if he decides to leave Real Madrid this summer. There's still rumours that are continuing to persist about Philippe Coutinho leaving Barcelona this summer. Reportedly, he's told his Brazil's team, some of his teammates, that reportedly he's considering leaving Barcelona this summer, of course, as well. And of course, the top 3 targets reportedly are Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Declan Rice, and Jadon Sancho. And obviously, giving you an update on Paul Pogba, reports are coming out yesterday and all that. The rumours are continuing to persist, saying that Madrid are preparing to put £125 million in for him this summer. From Pogba's perspective, he wants to leave Manchester United, as he's basically confirmed. So he's not intending to spend the rest of his playing career in England, of course, as well. So yeah, the good news is for today's game against Watford, Manchester United have got a host of players, coming back from injury. Of course, we know quite a few players, had to withdraw from international duty, of course. But according to ESPN, I've just seen Lukaku, Martial, and Rashford set to return, of course, as well. Luke Shaw's going to be available. Matic is going to be available, which is very, very good indeed. I think Valencia is available, Bay is available, Darwin's available. Obviously, all them 3, it's going to be very, very unlikely, that they're going to play, of course, as well. And obviously, we've still got Sanchez out through injury, of course. Well, he's still out injured. He's obviously out with a knee injury. I think he's set to return in April. Obviously, Manchester United are considering, sanctioning him off in the summer as well, because he's been very inconsistent as a Manchester United player. Been here just over a year, of course, as well, and he's lacked goals and everything. I think Solskjaer's lost faith in him. He's lost trustworthiness. He's lacked goals and all that. So it just emphasises how ineffective Sanchez has been for Manchester United, of course, as well. So I think he's out till April, but considering his substantial wages he's currently on, it may be hard to find a buyer for him. So obviously, we may sanction him off on loan in the summer, and then obviously, see how he performs then there, of course. Well, unless unless he's willing to, you know, to take some kind of wage cut or something like that as well. But I think Solskjaer wants to get rid of Sanchez this summer, and he's obviously suffered quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player, as we all know as well. So as I did say, guys, that's mainly everything to update you on today. Manchester United, Watford, 3 o'clock. I don't think I'll be able to stream the game, so I'll have to try and catch up with the highlights on that game as well. After Watford today, we go up against Wolves. Is it on Tuesday night? Wolves, if I'm sure, yeah. Wolves is away, of course, well. It's going to be another tough game because Wolves are in really, really good form. But today's game is going to be tough because Watford are in good form, you know, under Javier Gracie. You know, they've got to the FA Cup semi-final. You know, they're sitting 8th in the Premier League, of course, as well, Watford. So, you know, I'm not going to underestimate Watford, of course. And actually, we perform better away from home than actually at home, you know, to be quite honest with you, as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to my channel, as always, and take care. God bless, guys, and I'll see you all again.